Hello everyone, this is WaterfallJoe and welcome back to another video. Today's video is a very exciting video. I finally got my hands on the brand new OM-system OM-3. We're going to be doing an unboxing as well as a first impressions video. I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on it, and then I'm going to be going down to my local park and just taking a few photos, walking around, just enjoying this camera. I've been so excited about this since I heard about it. I'm very eager to finally have my hands and play around with one. I am just borrowing this. This is not my personal camera, although there might be one coming to the fleet and sometime in the future. But for now, we're just borrowing this for the day, so I can't go too far with it. But we're going to go out, we're going to go shoot around with it a little bit, and I'm just going to tell you guys my thoughts on it. So let's dive in. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little unboxing clip there. Let's discuss OM and where this camera sits in their lineup. So OM currently has 4 cameras in their interchangeable lens camera lineup. You have the EM10 Mark IV, which is the beginner. You have the OM5, you have the OM3, and you also have the OM1 Mark II, which is their flagship. So the OM3 is designed to sit between the OM5 and the OM1 Mark II, and it fits that gap between the more hardcore professional flagship model and the more casual traveler adventure shooter for the OM5. Now, that being said, the OM3 features all of the tech out of the OM1 Mark II. So it has all of the computational modes, the incredible autofocus, that same 20 megapixel stack sensor, which now makes this the least expensive interchangeable lens camera ever to feature a stacked sensor. That's really cool. It also has that amazing color wheel that so many Olympus and OM shooters loved from the Pen F a few years ago, and we're going to be talking about that in a minute. And we can't deny, I mean, look at the body of this. This is a absolutely gorgeous camera. I love the way it feels, I love the way it looks. I don't have the 12-45 lens, but I do have my 12-40, and we're going to see how that feels on here in a second. But let's go ahead and discuss kind of why I think this is a good direction for OM. So, of course, we know that Olympus sold their camera division to OM a few years ago, and OM has kind of been taking what they had and starting new. That being said, OM dived very hardcore into the travel, outdoor, nature photography market, and for people like myself who do waterfalls and hiking, that's great. But I think the people who do a lot of street photography, once that Pen F kind of went away and the replacement wasn't sold in North America, I think a lot of street shooters kind of felt a little abandoned. And I can understand that. But OM kind of saw what their specialty was, which is the crazy outdoor, weather-sealed, high-performance, take-it-anywhere camera like this one, and they embraced that, and I absolutely appreciate that. That's one of the reasons I came to this system. But I think the OM-3 is going to usher in a new era for these guys, and I think this is a great, great time because this camera, while still being just as hardcore as the OM-1, meaning it has all of the weather sealing, the metal body, the stabilization. It does it in a more beautiful package. It is a little lighter and a little smaller. And also, of course, it's a great looking camera. So this camera, I think, is going to open up the doors to a lot of people who want to do street, who want to do casual traveling. And I think even people who just want a good looking camera to take with them, I think a lot of people are going to find one of these in their bag just to take with them to the city or just walking around the park. I mean, this is a camera that I think is designed to be taken everywhere. I'm very excited for the new direction that this is taking OM. So let's talk about some features on the OM-3 that I personally am very excited about. As I've mentioned already, we cannot overlook how beautiful of a camera this is. Let's just give it its moment of glory here. This camera is absolutely stunning looking. And I don't know if it gets much closer to a film camera in digital world visually anymore. I know that there's the ZF and the X100, but I think this does a great job. And I'm willing to bet people will be confused if that's a film camera or digital camera when someone has this around their neck. So really beautiful body. Now, I'm really blown away by the weight of this. This comes in at just shy of 500 grams, but it's still a full metal body. Now, I am holding it here and it doesn't feel like metal. It feels similar to an OM-5, which is a plastic body, but this has that high quality metal just like the OM-1. But the OM-1 comes in at over 100 grams heavier than this. There's a button on the back that I'm very excited about, and I wish my OM-1 Mark II had it. This button right here, CP button, this stands for computational photography. Now, as someone who loves the computational photography modes, I've discussed this through and through. I think it's one of my favorite things of my OM camera. OM knows that computational is one of the coolest things about their cameras, and I love that they are really going into it on this. So let me go ahead and turn this on, get a lens on it, and I want to show you what the computational modes can do. Okay, so here we have the back of the camera, and here's that CP button I was talking about. If you press this and spin the front dial, so if you spin this dial, watch what happens. You can access all of your different computational modes without even having to go into the menu. Now for me, I'm a huge Live ND fan, so being able to just go in here and access Live ND without having to go into the menu is a game changer. Here's the Live GND, great for sunsets. And here's all your high-res modes right here at the beginning. And all you have to do is press the CP button and spin the front dial. For those of us that use the computational modes all the time, and I'm telling you, every time I go with my OM-1, I am either using the high-res mode or the Live ND or the Live graduated ND. I use it all the time, and I love that it's available, except going into the menu to play around with it. Of course, being able to just press a button saves you all the time in the world for this stuff. I know it's the small things, but being able to just press a button and access it, it's just an ease of life thing. They didn't have to do it, but we definitely appreciate that they did it. And I really wish my OM-1 Mark II had that. Okay, so the next feature I want to talk about is a fan favorite from OM/Olympus, and that is this little color wheel right here. People have always been begging for it to come back, and it finally is back on the OM-3. Now this is for all of the people who like to do mostly in-camera editing and not really any computer editing. Now of course you can still do this on a computer, but using the color wheel allows you to pick different looks of your photos in camera. Now I think this camera, being kind of aimed more at the street shooter, the more casual traveler shooter, I think this is an excellent feature, and I see a lot of people using this. I think a lot of people don't really want to do the computer editing part. They'd rather just get the picture right out of the camera and throw it on social media or whatever. And for those people who like to do black and white, you can just flip it one time and now you're in black and white mode. And I believe you can even adjust the tones of the black and whites as well. For all those people who love the art modes, don't worry, they still have all the art modes on here. I absolutely love what OM is doing with this color wheel. I love that it's kind of enabling all of us to have our own creativity with this camera. You can shoot it however you want. If you like to have a darker tone to your photo, a more dramatic look, if you like to have black and white, you can do all of that just with this color wheel right on the front. So one thing you might have noticed is I mentioned this has the internals of the flagship OM-1. Therefore that must mean that it's just as powerful, and that is correct. But all of that internal power has to go somewhere. So let's do a little size comparison real quick. So here's the OM-3, and here's the OM-1. Now the OM-3 actually is just a hair wider than the OM-1. It's very hard to tell, but I mean, I'm talking very minimal, but it is a little bit wider. The best benefit of the flat body is this will fit into any camera bag so much better than, say, a camera with a larger grip like this. Okay, one more thing I want to discuss before we head out shooting at my local park. I want to discuss the pricing and the options for this. Started shipping in the United States on February 27th, so you can finally get these, and I'm very excited that they're out and we can finally start playing around with them. Body only goes for about $2,000 here in the United States. You can also get it with the 12 to 45 f4 Pro for about $2,300 here in the United States. Now, I've played with both configurations, and I will say the 12 to 45 feels excellent on here. I think this is an excellent camera. I'm just having so much fun sitting here talking about it. I'm not even shooting, I'm just having fun talking about it and just admiring it for what it is. I think this is great. I love what OM did with this. I think that's enough talking here in the office, and I think we go take this to my local park and snap some photos and see what this thing can do out in the real world. So I will see you guys at the park. Okay everyone, we're here at the gorgeous North Haven, Connecticut Town Green. It's a cold Sunday, beginning of March, but we have the OM-3 with us out here. I got my gloves on, it's about 25 degrees right now, very cold. But I've just been walking around the town green here, just taking some photos with this thing. I have my 12 to 40 on here. We're out here just playing around today. Very bright day, but I did test out the live ND and it's really, really nice. Been having a lot of fun just photographing the shadows out here. This camera is so nice, and believe it or not, the shutter sound is actually one of my favorite features. I didn't even think I was gonna notice it, but just the sound of the shutter is so satisfying. I just want to keep clicking away on this camera. It's not mine, so I can't take too many pictures with it, but I've been having so much fun just walking around with it. I think this is such an excellent camera for just your day-to-day traveling, walking around photography. I'm gonna put some photos on the screen of just that I've taken here at the town green. I want to show you guys how the computational photography mode works. So you press CP right up here, and then you spin the front dial, and you can actually, and you can actually pick between all of these different computational modes. And I want to show you how the live ND mode works here. Let's see if we can get a car to drive by. So as we get the car to drive by here, I think I should have got yeah, there we go. We got the car blurred out in the photo there. Real time as it's happening. We can also get the flags as they blow around in the wind as well. And while we're here, I would love to demonstrate the high-res mode as well. So we can just spin our dial here, and we can go to but you can pick between a tripod or a handheld, and of course we are handheld. So now we're going to take it. It's going to say busy, but once it says busy, you're good to go. And now we have a very, very high resolution. This is a 50 megapixel high res image. And I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see. It's a very high quality image, all handheld. I've never been much of a black and white photographer, but I have been experimenting with the color wheel here, and I just threw it on mono real quick. And it is so much fun just to snap some shots straight out of camera in black and white. And it's so satisfying. I'll put them on the screen for you. With anything like the color wheel here, it is JPEG only. So I am a RAW shooter. I do like to edit my RAWs, but if you're just someone who wants to snap an image and just share it quickly, or you don't care about editing, I think you're really gonna appreciate the color wheel here. The OM-3 is aimed at more of a street community versus the OM-1 Mark II, which is more of a die-hard outdoor travel landscape photographer or wildlife photographer. So this camera feels absolutely at home. Just walking around the park today, photographing scenes like these benches here, it just feels right at home. It feels natural, especially playing with the black and white dial. I'm just having so much fun just walking around with this camera, and I think that's exactly what this camera stands for: fun photography. Okay, so I've been walking around the park here for about 30 minutes now, just having so much fun with the OM-3, and I've discussed a lot of some pros, but I think it's time to discuss a couple cons that I have with this camera. Depending on how you view it, the lack of a front grip could be a pro or a con. For me, it doesn't really bother me that much, and I absolutely could use this all day, no problem. I don't find it uncomfortable. If you are someone who does appreciate a larger lens, or if you like more to hold onto the front, then you probably will be intimidated by the lack of a front grip. However, we can rely on companies like SmallRig that will most likely come out with a grip in the future. So no worries there. You know, I do usually like to have 2 memory card slots just as backup, just in case anything happens. Luckily, nothing has happened yet. This camera does only utilize 1 memory card slot. So depending on how you feel about that, it could be a pro or a con. Of course, the pro is you do get a smaller body. The con is they can't fit in 2 memory card slots. So 1 SD card slot there. Now this one's gonna be a little specific, but for me as a waterfall shooter, the camera does have the live NDs, the same as the OM-1 Mark II. It only has 6 stops instead of 7 stops, however. So for those really hardcore long exposures that I do appreciate doing, this camera can't go quite as long as the OM-1 Mark II. Does that really matter? Not really. And anyone who's super diehard about waterfalls will either get an OM-1 Mark II or carry a set of ND filters. And as well, you still get all of the live ND benefits of the OM-1 Mark II. Another con that doesn't bother me, but for you to know, as I mentioned earlier, it does have the lower resolution viewfinder, so it's not the same one out of the OM-1 Mark II. For those who value the highest resolution viewfinder, I would look at the OM-1 Mark II, but for me personally, this viewfinder resolution does not bother me at all. Other than that, guys, I don't really have a lot of cons about this camera. I actually kind of had to sit here and think for a minute. Do I have a lot of bad things to say? The answer is no. One other thing that is kind of controversial is the price of this camera at $2,000 USD. Some people think it's overpriced. I personally think it's an excellent price considering this is very similar to the flagship model, which is a $2,400 camera. You get so much tech packed into this small package here. You have a stacked sensor, which makes this the least expensive interchangeable lens camera ever to feature a stacked sensor. You have a full metal body, you have weather sealing, you have stabilization, you have all of the computational modes out of the OM-1 Mark II. You have this beautiful retro design camera. I think it's a great hit, and I think this camera is going to sell well as time progresses. I think we're going to wrap up the shoot here. I am freezing and I am ready to get home and edit these pictures. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think of the OM system OM-3? Is it a hit? Is it a miss? Are you going to be getting one? I know for me personally, I do think there will be one in my future. Not quite yet though, because I still am loving my OM-1 Mark II so much. But for now, we're going to wrap up the video. Let me know what you think down below. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care.